What is up guys, it's your favourite Scotsman Ryan here, and today we are finally going to check out the Nexus 5X. So I have been using this for the past 6 weeks, and I find now that I have enough user experience to deliver an honest review. So with that said, let's jump in. So the Nexus 5X is the little brother to the Nexus 6P, which I will be covering in depth very soon. But most importantly, it is the successor to the much loved Nexus 5. So the 5X is made again by LG and arrives in 3 different colour options. There's white, black and also mint, and it arrives with either 16 or 32GB of storage configurations. Prices start at $379 in the US, which is around £339 here in the UK. I went ahead and picked my Nexus 5X up from Clove Technology, who offer worldwide shipping, so as always I will leave a link down below in the description in case you guys want to go ahead and check them out. So first things first, let's get this unboxed and see what's included. The first thing you are greeted with is a card that lists all the contents of the box, as well as some instructions on what you do with them. Next up we have all the usual accessories, but this time round we have a USB Type-C to Type-C cable, and the reason for this is that the included power adapter has a Type-C input, so you won't want to misplace these. While Type-C is awesome and offers things like faster transfer speeds and also being reversible, I really wish that they had included a Type-C to USB cable like they did with the Nexus 6P, so that I could maybe transfer files from the device to my PC, etc. But in this case you are going to have to fork out the extra cash if you want to go down that route. But we can't really grumble as it is a budget device. Next up we have a small packet with the SIM ejector tool and the usual paperwork that will likely never see the light of day again. Last up we have the Nexus 5X itself. My first thoughts when picking this up is, man does this thing feel light. In the hand it feels much like the original Nexus 5, which is definitely no bad thing. I'm a huge fan of the soft touch plastic backing, and I'm glad it made it onto the 5X. The sides of the device feature a matte black plastic finish, and overall I'm a big fan of how this looks and feels. While the 5X features a 5.2-inch display, it doesn't feel overly large at all. It is just 7.9mm thick and weighs in at 136 grams, so it has the perfect form factor for those with smaller hands and those of us who wear jeans with small pockets. Speaking of the display, the Nexus 5X features a 1080p LCD panel, unlike the Quad HD AMOLED display found on the 6P. It features a 1920 by 1080p resolution with a PPI of 423. Overall, it is certainly a good enough display for day-to-day usage. It's sharp, it's vibrant, and overall it looks great. Honestly, unless you're holding it side by side with a Quad HD panel, you probably won't have any issues at all. So let's take a look around. On the bottom of the device you will find the USB Type-C port for charging and syncing, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right hand side you have the power button up top, followed by the volume rocker. On the left hand side all you will find is the SIM tray, and onto the front we have a 5MP camera and what looks like stereo speakers, but unfortunately only the bottom one is a speaker. While this is disappointing, it's still better to have a speaker on the front of the device as opposed to a small one on the rear or on the underside, as having it on the front definitely delivers a better experience. So I'm going to give you a little example of how the speaker sounds, and I know this is YouTube, so take my word for it when I say that the speaker overall delivers a pretty good experience.
You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light, and it might taste bitter.
So behind that bottom grille you will also find a bright notification LED, which I think is a great feature. Moving on to the rear of the device, we have a 12MP camera with dual LED flash, and of course a fingerprint scanner. I really love the placement of the scanner, and setting it up was super easy and super quick. It's lightning fast and unlocks your device almost instantly, so it definitely gets a huge thumbs up from me. I will just touch on the camera briefly as I plan on making a separate camera test video in the coming days, as it sports the exact same shooter found on the Nexus 6P. The quality of cameras on Nexus devices have never been great, but this time round they seem to have made great improvements. In good light the quality is certainly passable, and as long as you use HDR Plus in low light, you will certainly get some great shots, albeit the colour reproduction isn't the best. Overall the camera is definitely decent and passable, but just don't expect it to be as good as, say, the LG G4 or the latest run of Galaxy devices. So now that we have discussed the hardware, let's talk about the software. The Nexus 5X I have now is running Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, and being a Nexus device you are getting that awesome stock Android experience delivered straight from Google, so you won't find any bloatware here. Another positive of owning a Nexus device is that you are going to get all the latest updates as soon as they are available. The Nexus 5X is running on a Snapdragon 808 processor with 2GB of RAM, and I know nowadays devices have 3GB of RAM, but the experience here is very pleasurable. I've also seen many reports of lag etc, but honestly I haven't noticed any lag at all, and I have been using this as my daily driver as mentioned for over 6 weeks now. Overall I found it to be very fluid and smooth, and it performs any task that you throw at it with little to no effort at all. So I have also made a separate video which you can find linked up here, which will show you how the Nexus 5X performs playing heavy games. I've also included some temperature readings etc, so if you fancy checking that out then be sure to either hit up here or check out the link in the description. When it comes to battery life, the Nexus 5X is packing a 2700 mAh battery, and with medium usage I was easily able to get through a full day. On days where my usage was slightly heavier, I would then need to top up the battery. The battery is helped along by one of Marshmallow's latest features known as Doze, which basically puts your device into hibernation mode when it's not being used, meaning that the standby time you can get from this is absolutely ridiculous. Another positive is the rapid charge feature that will give you almost 4 hours of usage from just 10 minutes of plugging it in. So overall you won't be disappointed unless you love wireless charging like myself, and then you could be a little upset. So that pretty much rounds up my review of the Nexus 5X. Overall I'm super impressed with this handset. You get a super smooth software experience, great performance, and also an improved camera. I have no trouble recommending the 5X, and as long as you are not coming from a flagship device like the LG G4 or any of the recent Galaxy devices, you will certainly love this device. As always guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about the 5X, you know you can just ask down below and I will definitely get back to you. As always, stay safe, be kind to each other, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.